here's the deal. Basically, I got these super cute earrings in the mail that my cousin made, Evil Eyes. And I also got 17 pounds of nuts in the mail. It's another story. You can hear the lawnmower outside. So basically, new Evil Eye earrings, plus my walnuts, to a Greek lady means let's make baklava and let's record it. Here's my one disclaimer. Don't talk shit about my baklava recipe because all Greeks do it different, but this is my Yia Yia's recipe and she's in heaven. So if you talk shit about it, she's gonna hear you and she's gonna be super upset. Yeah, let's do this. My other disclaimer is that I've only been in this apartment for 3 weeks, so I don't have measuring cups, but I got these babies and I don't have a lot of stuff. So we're just gonna do it. We're gonna make do, and if you don't have anything at home either, then good for you, because you can still do it. I was watching a Wolfgang Puck video, and he said every good meal starts with a glass of wine. And it's like around 5. So it's fine. Deal breaker number 1 is that you either put hot syrup on cooled baklava or you put cooled syrup on hot baklava. So what I do is I make the syrup first and then I make my baklava, and by the time it comes out of the oven, then it's fine. For the syrup, 2 cups of granulated sugar, a cup of water, cloves, a lot of them, because why not, and juice from half of a lemon. I like to keep a close eye on this and just keep stirring it until all of this sugar dissolves. In my Yia Yia's recipe, she boiled this for 20 minutes, which I love you, Yia Yia, but I think it's a little too long. It gets a little sticky. Usually, I do this syrup in a pot, but I also don't have that. So we're just doing it in a pan, but it's fine. I think if you leave it on the heat too long, it gets super sticky. My dogs are being crazy. Okay, I have a feeling that this is gonna turn into maybe a little harder than I thought because I don't have any measuring cups. I'm not calling myself a liar, but today the syrup's taken a really long time. So, you know the old saying, Yia Yia knows best? Yia Yia knows best. So today is gonna be about 20 minutes. Oh, baby! Oh my gosh, this color is like so beautiful. It took about 20 minutes because Yia Yia's right and I'm wrong, and that's just how it goes. So we're gonna take this off the heat and we're gonna let it cool for a long time. And it's gonna get thicker while it cools, so don't worry. If it's a little runny still, that's totally fine. Okay, let's get started on the filling. So for the filling for your baklava, we're gonna do 4 cups of chopped nuts. I don't think I have any problem with only 4 cups. We're gonna do 1/4 teaspoon of ground cloves. I only have whole cloves, but we're just gonna make that work. We're gonna grind them ourselves. 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, and then 1/2 cup to 3/4 of a cup granulated sugar. So I filled this guy up with my whole nuts, and I'm gonna put them in here. And the key to this, another thing Yia Yia always said, passing this recipe down, was make sure you don't grind these up too much. You wanna leave some big chunks in there so people really get the flavor. So the whole coffee grinder situation, not really working the best. So I would say before you do this, get a food processor like I usually have. So I'm just gonna take my knife and go in and chop some of these babies by hand. You know, they didn't have like food processors back in the day in Greece anyway, right? So maybe it's just gonna taste better this way. If you're Greek and you wanna fight with me about this, then bring it on. But I think rolled baklava is better than the cut squares. and I know everyone does it, and I feel like if you go to like a Greek restaurant or if you go anywhere that's like commercialized Greek cooking and you get baklava, and other cultures have baklava too, but the Greeks came up with it because we're the best. A lot of people do sheet pans, cook it into layers and then cut it afterwards because it does save time. And hey, if I had a Greek restaurant, I would totally do the same thing because this does take more time. But I think when it's cooking, the rolls keep in the butter more, and then you drizzle the syrup on. It absorbs all of that into the layers, and then you cut it once it's cooled, and I think it's so much better. I don't know, just do the rolls and do it with your family, and it's just gonna be good, okay? And if you're watching this, you obviously need help anyway, so just do what I'm telling you to do. Just kidding. Do whatever you want, I don't care. This wine isn't very good. It's a cab, and I don't know. Okay, here's the thing. So when you're like growing up, not growing up because you can't drink till you're 21, but you like really sweet drinks, right? So you're like mixing drinks, like sweet mixers, you like sweet wines, all that stuff. As I'm getting older, which I'm not old, I'm 23, but as I'm getting older, I'm liking less sweet wines, less sweet alcohol. Like I'll get a wine and I'll say, ooh, this is too sweet, and then I'm like, I'm old. All right, now this has turned into a wine video. Okay, people, let's get back to why we're really here. So I have my 4 cups. I really don't know if it's 4 cups, but it looks like it. 4 cups of chopped nuts in here. Do yourself a favor and get a food processor because that was not fun. Then let me get my handy dandy measuring cup, and we're gonna do 3/4 of a cup of sugar. Looks good. Then let me find my cinnamon. We are doing 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. I had braces twice, so don't tell my parents I just did that. 1, 2. I really have no idea how this is gonna taste. And then my cloves, which I need to grind in my stupid freaking coffee grinder. So I'm just hand mixing this all together, our filling for our baklava. So here's our phyllo dough. I took this phyllo dough out of the freezer this morning and just let it thaw on my counter. So we are going to take this out of the package, and it comes out and it looks something like this. And we're just going to unroll this baby. You have to be very, 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 very gentle with this because it breaks so easily. It's so delicate. It's thinner. Look how thin it is. It's thinner than paper. It's so thin. Okay, so what I do is I utilize this plastic that it comes in. So I'm gonna pull it down to the plastic, take this plastic layer and cover it. I'm gonna take a kitchen towel and get it damp. So lay this over the whole thing because this dries out so easily. Okay, melt 2 sticks of butter in the microwave. The setup is the most important thing, and you have to be organized when you do this. We have our phyllo dough with a damp towel, our melted butter, a place to roll, it can be anything you want, our filling, and a buttered pan. And don't forget to set your oven to 325. Okay, honestly, I feel like I need a camera crew to do this, but we're just gonna do it. So we lift up our towel and our plastic. We take a piece of phyllo, and to get it going is always the hardest. To get one little piece of this. See how thin this is? We're gonna lay this flat, we're gonna cover up. One thing that I really wish I had is a paintbrush to do this part, because that is like really helpful, because right now I'm just using a spoon, and this process of buttering every layer is gonna take a while because I don't have that. Back in and repeat that process 5 to 6 times. I usually do 5, but in that phyllo dough package I showed you, there's not enough to do it that many times over and over again. Okay, so we did another layer of phyllo. We're going back in with melted butter on our spoon. Preferably, I would have a paintbrush. I just put down layer 5 or 6 because I don't remember because I've been talking too much. So this is my last phyllo dough sheet. It doesn't really matter. I've done it before with 4 too. It's just a little bit harder to roll. So really make sure we get those edges there. Okay, now the fun part. This is what your kids can do. So we're gonna spoon in our filling that we made right at the edge. This isn't the best thing, but it's fine. I like a lot of filling, but if you don't want that much, if you want smaller rolls, that's fine too. Okay, so I just put my filling in. I'm gonna take my corners, and this first one's kind of the hardest, and we're just gonna push all that filling in there into the corners, and we're gonna make our first roll. And we're just gonna roll that up, and stuff is going to come out the edges, but that's okay. I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do. So we have our first roll. I'm just gonna take a knife and cut off the sides, just so that every bite that we get with this, even those end parts, are gonna be super flavorful. I'm gonna take this whole roll and I'm gonna set it into my pan. Look at the mess I've made already. Okay, then we just do that 100 more times, people. Lots of butter. Don't be stingy with the butter, people. We're not making this because we're on diets. We're making this for people to say, oh my God, that's the best baklava I've ever had in my whole life. Because they will. Because I've gotten out a lot. I was just thinking that that some of my family's gonna watch this, and they probably have my same Yia Yia's recipe, and they're gonna be like, that's not how I make it from her recipe. And that's okay, everyone makes it different. And as you start making this, you're gonna find, maybe my fingers will work better, honestly, to like spread this out. Aww. One of my aunts just said I posted the recipe on my story, and she just said I can recognize my Yia Yia, who's passed away, handwriting anywhere. That's gonna make me tear up. That's so sad. I mean, it's just special, I guess. And so I never met my Yia, who came over from Greece. I've always felt really connected to her. I have her cross that she wore when she was a little girl, and we never met, but I've always just felt, I don't know, really connected to her for some reason. I feel like she really looks out for me in life, and it doesn't matter what you believe, but that might sound crazy to you, but I feel like she's always with me, and I don't know, just makes me feel better. So love you, Yia Yia. I'm gonna cry. This is the most time-consuming part, is just making these layers. My mom and I usually do this together, so we'll take turns. Like, I'll be the one flipping this, and then the other person will be the one like buttering the layers, and it takes less time. I have enough filling for about one more roll. So I've done 6. This is gonna be my 7th roll. And I think usually I get 8 rolls out of this, but let's just blame it on no food processor, no measuring cups, and a few other things. Okay, here's my finished pan. Yia Yia literally is looking out for me because I used every little bit of filling I had, and I had exact space in this pan for this. 325 for an hour. So I just took this out of the oven. Looks so good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my knife, and I'm just gonna make little slits on top, and you want to make them at a diagonal because this is going to be your guide a little bit later when you cut this. Okay, so now we're gonna take our cooled honey and we're just gonna pour it through, and that is just gonna go down into those slits and really get into everywhere with that syrup. So we're just gonna keep spooning this honey on here and make sure we get it down into those cracks, and just gives it that really nice glisten. Okay, so I have spooned all of my syrup into there. And once that is set, what you can do is cut this and serve it, or you can leave it in the pan. Okay, so now you just have these like very beautiful, flaky, nice size cut pieces if you're taking this somewhere. And my favorite thing to do is get little cupcake wrappers and just put each of these little bites into a cupcake wrapper, and then it's an individual bite that you can hand out to people. Ooh, look at that syrup.
Oh my wow.
Is it good?
That's so
What are you doing?
nothing. I'm trying to get one more piece.
Okay, there you have it. Oh my god, look at all the baklava on my hair. Fail. If you try this recipe and you like it, or if you've never had baklava before, let me know how it goes and if it's good and if you like it. And if you have another baklava recipe out there, don't send it to me, because this one's the best. Just kidding. Bye.